And remember, subtraction is essentially the same thing as adding. It's just adding a negative. So an example of something that is not solved could be a minus 1 equals 12. Notice that something is being subtracted from our variable on the left-hand side of the equation. So I'm going to draw an X through that, since the whole point of this is to say, what does it mean to solve? A minus 1 equals 12 is not solved. What if we had the variable on the right-hand side? So if we had 7 equals X plus 2. There again, we have something being added to X. It is not solved. So I'm going to draw another X through that. Next, the coefficient of the variable has to be 1. And so what does that mean? That means if I have something like 1/2 X equals 7, clearly the coefficient is 1/2. Remember, coefficient is a number that's multiplying your variable. And here 1/2 is multiplying X, coefficient is not 1, therefore this is not solved. Next, the coefficient, which I said has to be 1, also has to be positive. So just because you have something like negative y equals 7, that does not mean that you are done. No. Notice we have the invisible 1 here. Coefficient is negative 1. Negative 1 is multiplying your variable y, and that has to be positive 1. So a quick trick here, you can divide by negative 1, or you can multiply both sides of that equation by negative 1, and so you would have y equals negative 7. And finally, the variable cannot be in the denominator. So if you had 3 divided by x equals 8, there, x is in the denominator. When you solve, the variable must be in the numerator. So this is not solved. So even if you have x in the numerator, let's just rewrite this a different way. Let's say we had x divided by 3 equals 8. That still isn't solved. Yes, it is in the numerator, but you're still dividing x by something. So to solve, you have to have all 5 of these. It must be isolated on one side of the variable. There's nothing being added or subtracted to the variable. The coefficient is 1, which means you're not dividing it by anything. You're not multiplying it by anything. If your coefficient is 1, remember it has to be a positive 1, not a negative 1. And the variable cannot be in the denominator. Remember these when you are being asked to solve.